Tonks was elected to the House of Commons in November 2008 and was re-elected in 04, 06, and 08. Sorry, in 2000 was re-elected in 04, 06, and 08. Currently, Mr. Tonks serves on the House of Commons Natural Resources Committee and is part of an ad hoc committee of parliamentarians studying issues of common interest between the environmental and natural resource sectors. In January of 2009, Mr. Tonks was elected to lead the Ontario Liberal Caucus, serving as its chair during 2006, 2007, and 2008. Mr. Tonks led the Liberal GTA caucus and served as vice chair for the Natural Resources Committee. Several of Mr. Tonks' positions have included chair of the Standing Committee on the Environment and Sustainable Development, Liberal Caucus Special Committee and Cities and Communities, on Cities and Communities, Parliamentary Secretary to the Minister of Environment, as well as on the Standing Committee on Public Account and the Standing Committee on Transport. He also served as a member on the Standing Committee on Human Resources, Skills Development, Social Development, and the Status of Persons with Disabilities. These make for very long business cards when you have to print them all out. And as a member of the Prime Minister's Caucus Task Force on Urban Issues. From 1982 to 1988, Mr. Tonks served as Mayor of the City of York. From 1988 to 1997, he served as Chair of the Municipality of Metropolitan Toronto. After the amalgamation of the City of Toronto, Mr. Tonks was elected to serve as the first Chairman and CEO of the Greater Toronto Services Board. Mr. Tonks has been the recipient of the Lions Club International Foundation's Melvin Jones Fellow for dedicated humanitarian service and Rotary International's Paul Harris Fellow for outstanding community service. Mr. Tonks holds an Honours BA and an MA in Political Economy from York University, as well as a Master's of Education degree from the University of Toronto. He and his wife Cecile live in Toronto and have 3 children and 1 granddaughter. Please welcome Mr. Tonks.
Thank you very much. Well, you know, the introduction, Glenn, that I really more appreciate is here's someone who needs no introduction, so he's not going to get one. I'm so pleased to be here, and thank you to all of you for being so supportive of our party, and also for Yasmin. Yasmin is much more dexterous and flexible. Well, I shouldn't say more. She is equally as flexible and dexterous in her cerebral and approach to problem solving as she is dancing. I'm actually quite, I won't say I'm shocked, but I am. I see that someone had said that she does this for Queen and Country. Dancing is something that comes as an art form, particularly that type of creative dancing. I'm trying to describe it here. I'm really over my depth, but it's beautiful to see. All of the various movements and signs have meaning, and they're so graceful and beautiful. And Yasmin, you were equally up to the task. So I can hardly wait to the next party we have at Storing Away. That I'll do my Michael Jackson moves, and we'll have some background from Yasmin. I'm coming from my annual general meeting, which is over in York Southwest. And I told Yasmin that it's always so important to acknowledge the contributions that have been made by sort of our journeymen, our people who have been working for us, who believe in liberalism, who are part of our very political soul and nature. If you think about the Liberal Party and you think of the history of the party, it is no surprise that our support comes from generations of people who have come from other countries, who have experienced life in other countries, who have seen the fulfillment of their dreams of being able to bridge from their countries of origin with their cultures as being appreciated, respected, and given dignity in Canada. And in fact, the characterization of how that has happened to a large extent has been because of liberalism. The philosophical belief in the individual and the fulfillment of the individual in his or and her responsibilities to family and to extended family. And if we have contributed anything as liberals throughout our history, it's that fundamental belief that people have become attached to as part of an intuitive and inherent belief that we are our brother's keeper, we are responsible for each other, we are accountable first as individuals, but secondly as individuals to our greater community. And so I'm always humbled, if you will, to come and to thank people who I recognize have been a journeyman who have given expression to that spirit decade after decade after decade. Now, as a foil to that, we've recently had an opportunity to reflect on the character of our government. And at times that character is something that the opposition parties bring goodness out of, and at other times we're shocked that the goodness just doesn't quite meet the standard that we have been used to. And no easier way can I find to express that than to tell you that your member for Don Valley East, Yasmin Ratansi, really is an expression of what I've tried to say in spirit, and in practical terms she demonstrates it each and every day. And just recently, I don't know whether you saw on television the Government Operations Committee, but that's right. That on the one hand, we can say, well, these things happen, and we can look at the frailties of human nature and so on. But on the other hand, seldom do we see demonstrated two cultural opposites. The cultural opposite of a dignified chair who is there to represent what we as a party and as those who've been given the trust of the public are to represent. And then an individual who comes before that and does not share that same character and that same belief. One acting as a foil to the other. One beautiful gem, the chair, Yasmin, and the other not doing justice to that beautiful gem, and it simply came through. And I don't know whether you saw that, but I would like you to give Yasmin a round of applause to show that we did see that.